Welcome back to another episode of the Crossovr podcast. Miles, and Stevie back at it again. Today we have a great episode. We have former Rutgers and NFL linebacker and now VP of Talent at Malka Sports, Kevin Malast. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us. How you doing?
Thanks so much for having me, man. I'm fired up.
For sure. How has your quarantine been? Other than growing out a beard, what have you been up to?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, it's been different. It's it's something nobody can really prepare for, but I'm glad the company I work for is well positioned for it, if that makes sense. So we've been very active, all different types of things rolling, with our talent, brands, and media properties that we work with across the board. But also on a more personal level, it's different. It's tough because I have a 3-year-old running around. So this kid will just jump right into meetings. He'll just climb my lap and say hi to whoever's I'm talking to on the computer. And we just had our second baby June 1st. So,
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And a baby girl, her name's Gia. My son's name's Cameron. And we're just, learning on the fly and just making it work, man. Every day is different. And, trying to balance, work life like everybody else is doing, and just trying to find positives in this time. And what's cool about it is you get more additional time with family, so I spend a lot of time with my son and that I normally wouldn't be getting. So it's, again, just finding the wins than anything else and just enjoying one day at a time.
So tell us a little bit more about what you're currently doing for your role.
For sure. So my specific role is the VP of Talent of Malka Sports, like you said, and basically my role is to grow the business organically through my relationships in sports. That's a very high level. Also, I manage our talent. So whether that's negotiating with a brand for the talent, positioning the talent in media in a certain way, or acquiring new talent and recruiting. So I'm doing everything across the board that basically deals with anything in our talent that we work with, and also just growing those relationships. I mean, my business and what I do is a relationship-driven business. And I've kind of learned that just being a good teammate as a player, at Rutgers, and then through my time in the NFL, I built a lot of amazing relationships along the way, and it kind of positioned me to be able to do the job I have now. So I'm very thankful for my past and what's gotten me to this point.
When you were obviously at a certain point, you started taking football very seriously. At what point did you kind of know that you needed to make a little bit of a career change? And did you know that you wanted your career to go in the direction that it did?
That's a great question. And, high level, no, I had no idea I was going to work on the agency side of the business. I had no clue. And what's cool about our story is that now I work for the guy, our president of Malka Sports is a guy named Pat Capra, and Pat represented me as a player. So it was really cool in that aspect that I learned firsthand as far as what an agency should be doing and providing a player. I've been through a lot. I've been on 3 different NFL teams. I've been cut. I've been on IR. I've been on active. So I've been everything across the board in the NFL. And then also I even went through the 2011 lockout. So that was an interesting time. And then even more so, where I'll come, full circle is, the transition period, which is a very tough period. And it's no one really talks about. It's not the sexiest thing to talk about when kids are coming out of college. We're going to help you with your transition, because all they're thinking about is playing 10 years in the NFL, and they think it's going to last forever. But to me, what an agent should be doing, or an agency should be doing, is being around you and helping you and positioning you for those tough times in life. And for me specifically, it was very hard to move forward from football. I love football. I loved everything about it. I love being in the film room. I love training every day. All my friends thought it was nuts because I'd be looking forward to training camp. I love training camp, waking up every day and just getting to hit someone and becoming the best linebacker I could possibly be. So when I realized my time was running out, I got put on IR in Tennessee in 2012, and I got officially released from Tennessee in 2013. I had a couple offers to go to Canada, but at that time it didn't seem right for me. The money wasn't really there to be an American player going to play in Canada, because they have a lot of different rules and how they go after Canadian players to keep the integrity of that league, which I understand. But at that point, I was like, you know what? Let me just figure out what my next move is going to be. And then my guy, my agent that I worked with, he really helped me, and I had a lot of great support from my family and everybody else around me to kind of help me move on to the next phase of life. And then that kind of brought me to my first job. My first job out of football was I worked for an HR company called Insperity. And basically they developed HR infrastructure for small to mid-sized companies. And it's a very random job, a completely random job for me coming out. But me, I just wanted to, I want to jump right into corporate America and see what it's all about. I'm very competitive in sports. I was like, let me just bring this competitiveness into business and see what it's all about. I have a bunch of family who are in police, and I just didn't want to go that direction. And again, I have a very supportive family, so they supported me whatever I decided to do. But again, that was a very hard transition. I mean, you're talking about my job. First of all, my resume only read NFL teams on it. So I walk into an HR company that actually you need sales experience and HR experience to actually get the job. It's not a beginner level type job. It's actually a tough sell. And so I walk in and I was just like, I was super energetic, talking to the guy who interviewed me. And I think they're like, this guy's absolutely out of his mind, but let's give him a chance and see what he can do. Like I'd regret not offering him. And so, I jumped into it. I did 3 years there, and that really helped me from a development standpoint. I had a great ability to develop all these amazing relationships and to kind of create wins and make introductions. However, I needed to refine myself as a business person, and just in day-to-day things, even something as simple as sending an email. Think about it. My job was to run downfield and kick off and to break wedges open. And then I'm walking into a corporate America with a shirt and tie on, and I don't even know how to fax or scan anything, so it's just a way different, transition level, but I'm grateful for that. Like I embraced it, you always hear that expression, be comfortable being uncomfortable. And I've always embraced that throughout my entire career, no matter what I was doing. Coach Shiano would actually preach that a lot at Rutgers. And, but I just dove into it, did really well in 3 years there, made a lot of great relationships. Two things I told myself going into my first job is I wanted to be able to continue to develop relationships, meet people all across the network of all different types of backgrounds and industries. And that allowed me to do that because my job was to get in front of C-level executives to pitch our service for them to take it on. So that put me in position to do that, which I tapped into the Rutgers network very heavily. And also I wanted to continue to get an education. I wanted to learn more about business. It just gave me a hands-on approach to business. I was learning about all different types of businesses and industries by talking about how we can retain talent better there, or how we can give them better benefits to find the talent they're looking for. So again, it brought me into a really cool world, interesting world. I had no idea what I was getting myself into, but I'm grateful I jumped into it. And throughout that process, the guy who represented me as a player, that guy, Pat Capper, I was just explaining, he was like, dude, you should join this world, because you have all the characteristics to make you very successul in this side of the business, as far as, being a former player, you're the mentor level of that. Cause I've walked in their shoes. I've done what they've all done, getting ready for a training camp and, in the highs and lows of a career. And then also just organically building relationships, which I just believe in. I always just try to constantly help others, and that's kind of positioned me to bring me into what I'm doing now. So in a very long-winded response, that's how I got into the agency part of the business.
That's cool.
No doubt. For sure.
I'm just going back a little bit. You mentioned the lockout. What'd you do during it? Was that was it weird? What'd you not waking up and not having anything to do? Or not having something to do, but just work out and shit all day?
For sure. The lockout was very interesting because one thing about the NFL that is very different than college is when you're on your own and there's an off season, it's a real off season, and you have to be mature enough to hold yourself accountable, to keep a regimen, to make sure you go back ready. Like me, I was a day-to-day guy in the NFL. Any day I could get cut, and I acted that way. I acted with that kind of sense of urgency of being prepared and doing the right thing and making sure I was best positioned to be successful at that level. So, the lockouts were even a more aggressive wrench in there too, as far as, again, you got to hold yourself accountable, and that's what we're telling these guys now, my clients now. I'm saying, hey, go back ready, man. One thing is, the NFL will not wait for anybody. Once the dust settles and everything gets going, they're not going to wait around and wait 2 weeks for you to, get back in the mix. And you're not in shape yet. Okay, well, we'll hold off. No, they're going to fire you, and they're going to bring another guy in who is ready. Yeah. And that's how I kind of treated the lockout. It was very weird, not reporting to an OTA, because all we missed during that lockout in 11 was just that OTA and mini camp time, which sucked because I needed that time to position myself on the team, as far as what I can do, because that was my first year actually in Tennessee. I just signed with Tennessee and then the lockout hit, so I was excited to get there
that's a tough
and make
spot.
it a point. And then Mike Munchak was actually the new head coach of that season. So he had a whole new staff that I wanted to get used to, and you weren't allowed to do that. So again, we actually in Tennessee, I believe we had Jake Locker, was our first round pick, and Matt Hasselbeck we had just acquired in free agency, and those guys were awesome dudes as far as like gathering the team. So we did a couple of workouts down in Tennessee, like on our own, but nothing too crazy though, but a lot of it's just holding yourself accountable and making sure I'm doing things to be successful in that league, and also stay proactive and developing a network outside of it too during that time. Because again, when you have this free time, you want to use it to your best ability. You don't want to just sit down and be like, no one else is really doing much, I'll just hang out. And that's what we're trying to tell these guys now. Like even during this time, our agency, we're trying to position our guys with other executives of like introduce them to people, especially NFL players who made the transition, guys who went into commercial real estate and the broadcasting and finance, and just gain a little education during this downtime, this aggressive more substantiating downtime than you normally would have. So again, just taking advantage of the time is kind of what that 2011 lockout was for me.
Do you find more players looking more for their future now since this COVID hit, since the quarantines and stuff, or like they're just more focused on like the season coming up?
Yeah, you know what? I think every player, I mean, you're going to see, there's just over 2,000 guys going into the league, when the roster's expanded 90, going into the season, and you're going to see just over 2,000 people, different ways of approaching it. So you have a bunch of guys who are, looking long term and figuring out, football, because again, like you're thinking more like during this time because you have more downtime than you normally would do. All these guys are very regimented. And then now that you have free time and you're having conversations with people outside of football, I'm sure there's a lot of people, taking this time as far as thinking, when football's done, what am I going to do? And honestly, we're trying to get our guys thinking that way as far as just an urgency of developing yourself outside the field. Because there's only so much training in football you can do in a 24-hour period. I mean, think about it. I mean, you can't train for 15 hours a day. It's ridiculous. So what else are you doing with that time while you have this platform? Because while you're an NFL player, it's way different even being a retired NFL player. It just is. People are just a little more interested. It's a little easier to get a meeting. And that's what we're trying to tell these guys is like, man, you have a great opportunity to use your platform now. Well, use it, man. There's plenty of guys. There's plenty of, we got a player on the Giants. There's plenty of guys who would be dying to have a conversation with a guy who plays for the Giants. You know what I mean? Bunch of C-level executives, guys who are super successful and can give you plenty of opportunities even when your career is done down the line. It doesn't matter where you're at. I mean, you can find those opportunities.
Being at Malka, it's kind of like a melting pot of content. And what really stuck out to me was the Frank Yeager commercial with, the awesome music in the back and how the production of it in general. So I'm curious how your interest in music and in film influenced your decision to do something like this, since everything kind of meshes together.
Yeah, you know what? The content side of the business is really a differentiator for us, and how we do it. The agency model is trending in a way different direction now as far as people owning their own content, doing their own content, storytelling, individual player profiles and things like that. And especially operating at the cross section of brands, media properties, like all the podcasts that we run, and our talent. So to be able to interconnect that in that cross section, it's heavy. And it's just a lot more opportunity to be able to do that. The old school model of an agency of strictly just negotiating a contract and collecting 2% of that and kind of circling back with a player every now and then, maybe teeing up an intro every now and then. That's what to me, I mean, at least how we operate, it's way in the past. The way we're thinking every day is what kind of opportunity can we provide these guys? And then do we send shooters out to what they're doing? If they're working with a brand, do we just connect and create a commercial there? With the Frank Yeager thing that you're talking about, that was with Body Armor, and Body Armor was kind of on the fence as far as, do we just give them product or do we give them money leading up to a fight? And then we proactively created that commercial for him where he was training in the Jersey Shore, and we were able to bring it back to Body Armor, and they liked it and bought it. So again, to be able to be that proactive. Now there's a little risk involved in doing that, but we have plenty of people who are very knowledgeable in that world, who understand what that risk is, and we're able, to bring it to life, which is really cool to have that kind of capability. And again, it just creates a lot more different opportunity. I bring people in our office all the time. We're headquartered in Jersey City. And the reason for that is I just like to have conversations with people, and then we start bouncing ideas back and forth, because chances are there's probably a way we can find a way to work with them with everything that we have in house and we're able to do. I mean, we have about 90 creatives, graphic designers, editors, shooters across the board that we have full access to, and we can kind of maneuver, and create some amazing opportunity.
Right. So whose input has the most pull, I would say? Does the athlete get it, or do you or Pat get it, or do the graphic designers get it, or the...
What's cool about, the way we operate, so it's Malka Media and Malka Sports. So Malka Media, and we're basically infused to one another, and we operate as one. Even though they're two different tax IDs, but we operate as one. We have 2 office spaces in Jersey City and the other one in Santa Monica, California. And what's cool about our situation, and I'm going to be a little braggish here, but is everyone's very collaborative and just creative. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter who you are or what you do in the company. If you have a good idea, it will be heard, and we'll all talk about it. And if
that's the way it should be.
Exactly. And that's why I really enjoy working there with some really absolutely amazing people. I mean, a lot of times when I'm sitting down with an athlete or a coach, because we rep coaches as well, I'm showing them all the content that everybody in the rest of the office is doing. You know what I mean? And I'm bragging about them essentially, because I'm like, yo, check out this commercial we did here, or this podcast sizzle here, or this podcast that we're working on, or, and this brand work we did here. It's really cool to be able to do that. And it's really a cool culture as far as, that development on that content side and how we pursue things.
Where are you in Jersey still, Kevin?
I am. So I'm born and raised in Manchester Township, which is in Ocean County. And then currently I live in Toms River, which is a town that borders Manchester, right in Ocean County, about 10 minutes from Seaside.
Yeah.
How is that commute to Jersey City from there?
It gets tough sometimes. But here's the thing, like my job and my role, I don't have to be in the office every day. My thing is to be out in front and meet with people. I spend a lot of time at Rutgers, or no matter, depending on what we got going on, or going out to breakfast or lunch with people, taking calls. But I do like to be in the office too, because there's a lot of creativity that's happening around there. And again, I like bringing people to the office. What's cool is, I take a lot of conference calls in the morning time. So I leave a little after that traffic period, so I can just shoot right up. And I live right off the Parkway. I'm less than a mile off the Parkway. So I can still be in the office in an hour and 10 minutes, which to me, that's not a bad drive. My other job was in Florham Park, and that drive was brutal. It's going 78 to 24.
Yeah.
Nice.
Or 24 to 78.
So we're all Jersey boys as well. I'm curious, how does Jersey compare to the other places that you live, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Chicago, etc.?
Mm-hmm. Jersey's its own animal, as you guys know, and getting to travel a lot now for work and business. It's just got a different feel, like being between 2 major cities and having the Jersey Shore right there. Me specifically, I'm very loyal and to Rutgers and Jersey as a whole. I'm a Jersey guy through and through. My father's actually retired lieutenant colonel in the state police, so I'm very Jersey driven, and it's definitely different. It's definitely different. Tennessee, people say hi to you like walking on the street, and people you don't even know, and you're kind of caught off guard because you would never really do that in New Jersey. People kind of mind their own business and things like that. But Tennessee was awesome. Everyone was super nice and genuine. But one thing about New Jersey that I love, it's just like the raw feel. You're going to get honesty out the gate, in most cases. So that's the one thing that's very different than these other places that I've been to.
So obviously we're all Jersey guys. I need to know your thoughts about some of these Jersey-born rappers, athletes. Well, you're Toms River, so you're neighbors with Todd Frazier.
Yeah. And we Todd lives in Toms River, and it's funny. I went to Rutgers with Todd too. So Todd was a year above me at Rutgers, and then he left a year early for the majors. But and I used to hang out with him out there, and he's actually, even though we're different years, I'm older for my grade, so I went – so that year when they won, obviously you guys know like the Tom's and Reese Little League team, right? Like that Todd was on when he was younger. Uh-huh. So when they won that whole thing, I was on another 12-year-old all-star team at Manchester, and we played them the first game of the entire journey to when they beat Japan. So we were the first game they played, and they Kenron ruled us. They kicked the shit out of us. Right? Is it okay if I curse on here?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
So like it's just kind of funny. Like, and Todd was a great Pop Warner player too. So I played against him in Pop Warner and youth football, and he dropped football when he got in high school. But yeah, I've known Todd. In fact, we had Todd on. We've been doing a lot of different podcast work with some of our talent. Just trying to take advantage of this time. And we have a podcast with Scott Goodale, the head coach of Rutgers Wrestling, and Anthony Ashenall, who's like clearly a Jersey legend wrestler. Right. First national champ, and Todd actually went on their podcast. It was a really cool show. Yeah, it was awesome. But yeah, Todd's a great guy. He's Ocean County royalty for sure.
So you're a baseball fan or strictly football?
Yeah, I'm a baseball fan. I played baseball in high school. I was a 3-sport athlete in high school. And I was a wrestler as well. I'm definitely a baseball fan for sure. Yankee fan.
Stevie, one probably hurt, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Baseball is pretty much dead and buried right now, so I don't even want to think about it.
It's tough, and it seems like they're not really close right now. Which it's a shame.
Manfred just said that they're not looking too good, and it's a disaster.
Yeah,
it's kind of scary.
It is crazy.
Brandon Brooks just tore his Achilles too.
Nice.
Jesus, yeah.
So, Kevin, did you ever consider? Like, was football always your most serious sport, or were you ever considering taking wrestling and baseball equally as seriously?
You know what? I just growing up, I had 2 older brothers who were great athletes. They actually both played college football as well. One played linebacker at University of New Hampshire. Actually, when he was there, Chip Kelly was the offensive coordinator for New Hampshire. This is in the late 90s.
Wow.
And then my middle brother was a great high school running back, and he had a full scholarship to VMI, Virginia Military Institute. So they both had D1AA programs. My oldest brother had a full scholarship as well. And in fact, my father played football at Villanova. So it's kind of funny, all these guys, all playing football. But my dad was just a big believer of being a 3-sport athlete. There's other skill levels of other sports that can help enhance the sport that you think is your dominant one. And again, kids all develop at different rates and stages, and you never know like what's going to be your sport. Like, it always cracks me up to see these parents just have their kids play one sport year round, and they're like 10 years old. I mean, you never know. Like, this kid could grow to be 6'7" one day, and basketball becomes a sport. You know what I mean? And you never develop the skill there. To me, that's insane. And wrestling and baseball really were different skill levels than football. Just 3 different sports. And I think because of that was why I was able to succeed in all 3. And I worked at whatever sport was, whatever season it was. I wasn't a full year round for any one specific sport, and honestly, I think that kept me fresh. Now I lifted weights throughout all those sports, that's for sure. And that really helped me develop into an athlete that I became. But that's basically it. I believe in kind of being multifaceted, and that really helps. I think any athlete's development, and wrestling specifically, I'm a huge fan of wrestling, which is why we dabbed into that wrestling space a little bit in the agency world, because there's a hyper passionate fan base there, and that sport's becoming more and more popular, especially at Rutgers. We've seen that firsthand with Scott Goodale and what he's doing with that program. So it's been, I'm definitely a huge wrestling fan.
Oh yeah.
Are you a UFC guy?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm a big UFC guy. It's just a tremendous sport. And what those guys do and what they put their bodies through.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I have so much respect for those athletes, and we work really close with Frankie Edgar, and we do a lot of stuff with him. So it's, to see it firsthand, to watch him train and what he does and how he pursues at that level. It's very special, and just to see, it's cool being an athlete in a different sport and how they do it in another sport, to see it up close. It's awesome.
Right. So go ahead, Miles.
No, I was just going to say, I agree. Like, the physical exertion that they put their body through, it might not be paralleled in any other sport. It's crazy. But
it is. And what's cool about, in the wrestling space, And this is kind of why, this is part of the reason why we kind of pursued it, is a lot of wrestlers, if they want to go pro in something, they think, going to UFC, because wrestling is a great skill to have as a UFC fighter. You know what I mean? So it's, there's a lot of former wrestlers who were great wrestlers in college, and are very successful in the UFC. So it's a natural transition.
It seems like most of them have a wrestling background of some sort.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You see that across the board a lot, and plus, like, you look at a guy, we represent Anthony Ashnall, and a lot of those guys, even if they want to coach one day, well, then we'll just, transition, Anthony's going to pursue the Olympics, which is really cool and will be fun to watch him do. But, longer down the line, when he's done competing as a wrestler, and what we do is we help him with brands around him and get him organized, position him in a certain way and create content for him to engage with his audience. Like, that's how we kind of help Ant and kind of jumpstart him. He'll probably coach one day, so then we'll just take over his coaching contract and go that direction as well. So it's a really cool, interesting transition.
Definitely. So aside from sports, we want to know about your music choices, what kind of music you're into, all that kind of stuff. I know I mentioned like Jersey-born guys before, like Springsteen, Bon Jovi. Only rap that's coming to mind is Fetty Wap for some reason. I'm sure there's more. I'm
a huge. I love Fetty Wap's music. He's a Patterson guy, right? Isn't he a Patterson guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I know his financial advisor really well, so yeah, I'm a big Fetty Wap guy. Low hanging. I mean, everyone's a little bit of a Springsteen fan. Every having a mix. And but my as far as my take in music, it's literally everything. Like it's across the board. The only thing I won't do is like dance and techno and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like you're not gonna see me like listen bumping dance and techno stuff. But other than that, like if you went on my Spotify like songs. Like he would be like across the board. You'd be like, "Whoa, it's just the same guy listening to this music."
Kevin, being an Ocean guy, not many people I talk to know about him. But do you know about Southside Johnny, right?
Southside Johnny? No.
What? You gotta look up. All right, so he was like he's like older than that.
This guy asks everybody he meets about Southside Johnny. Nobody knows who the hell he is.
I'm sorry. I'm a little upset. I'm disappointing you right now. I gotta check it out. What kind of music?
It's a classic rock. Him and Springsteen came up together, and Springsteen got like the big and famous one, and he stayed and just kept playing at the Stone Pony.
Oh my god!
That's all he thought. He always brings out Bruce at the Stone Pony. Like
the Stone Pony's great, so I don't fault him for doing that. But
yeah,
wow. I mean, Bruce worked out really well for Bruce Springsteen. I mean,
you gotta look him up when you get off of this.
I will.
Southside Johnny. I mean, it's a little different. Like this was like my mom's shit, so like I listened to whatever she did. So and like no one knows about him. I'm like, how does like no one from the beach know about this guy? Like they're all from the beach. They all play.
I know.
I
gotta be better than that. I gotta be better than that. I pride myself in like. I pride myself in Jersey Shore culture too. It's so funny. Like I love being a part of the Jersey Shore. Like I always talk about it. And even when I played in Chicago, it was so funny because that's when like the show got popular. The Jersey Shore show was was really popular at that time. So when I was in Chicago, I used to get my balls busted all the time. Like, being a Jersey Shore guy, I used to get called the situation. Like Earl Lacker would call me like, "Hey, situation." Like I used to get like just ripped on out there, and like everyone's like, "Is it really like that?" And I'm like, I mean, kind of. I mean, not really. I mean, it's a mix of people. You know what I mean? I'm like, what do you think of me? Like I live there, so
it's almost like you're so used to it. You don't even notice that like people are like actually like that, That's
true. It's such a different, it's a different feel. It's funny though, but people like have this one, like they watch that show and they think everybody in the Jersey Shore is just like that.
Yeah.
Clearly. That's definitely not the case.
But like, in some areas, but
no doubt.
You definitely walk through Seaside, and you'll still get some people like that.
Oh yeah, great people watching, and it's great. Like I go to Seaside all the time with my son, and it's because I can be in Seaside. I can be on the boardwalk in 10 minutes from where I live.
Awesome.
So it's nice to be that close, and but it's funny. I mean, Jersey Shore, like there's so much talent that comes out of here too, even from the sports perspective. When I think back to when I was in high school, I played against 2 first-round tailbacks just in high school. And they were. Do you think you guys can guess them? Think of Jersey Shore tailbacks. Nah, it might be a little. Jersey Shore. Think. High school, great high school. They were both great high school players.
They were both first rounders.
Both first rounders. Actually, in the same year. So you want the high schools?
The colleges.
Okay, the colleges are Georgia and UConn.
God. What's his? I know the one from Georgia is right on the tip of my tongue.
UConn. I'll never guess. Georgia. I mean, Georgia's running back.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
So if I disappoint you with Southside Johnny, you guys are disappointing me here.
Oh no, I got him. I got him. He went to a Middletown, right?
Middletown South.
Oh, it's No Sean.
Yeah.
No Sean Marino.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
No Sean Marino. The other guy's Donald Brown.
Okay, I didn't know about not Donald Brown, but I definitely know about No Sean. But all my boys are like from Middletown, so they're always like the best time of our life was just going to the high school games and watching them just run all over the field.
Dude, that was a really special team, and I know the head coach really well. He's a great guy. They had some great players. They had a linebacker too named Nick Macaluso, who I actually hosted at Rutgers. But he ended up going to Stanford. I guess I didn't do a good enough job. But I mean, they had some really great players. And then Donnie Brown, he had a 2,000-yard season his redshirt junior at UConn, and he left a year early there and got drafted by the Colts. And Don played about, I want to say, 8 total years in the league. So. It's kind of crazy. So I played against both those guys just in high school.
That's
there's crazy talent in the Jersey Shore in all sports, and in basketball as well. I mean, J.R. Smith, he's from Ocean County.
Lakewood, yeah.
He's from Lakewood. Yeah, went to St. Benedict's, but yeah, he's a Lakewood guy. Actually, he might have went to Lakewood his first 2 years in high school. Then he went to St. Benedict's, but there's a lot of talent.
Jersey breeds athletes. So many Jersey athletes come out.
They do. There's a lot. I mean, so there's a crazy stat that I bring up all the time. And so my draft class was 2009, right?
Mm-hmm.
So coming out, so my last football season at Rutgers was 2008. So my draft class was 2009. The amount of first rounders that year that were from Jersey was insane. Yeah. It was Kyle Wilson, Malcolm Jenkins, Kenny Britt.
Yep.
No Sean Marino, Donnie Brown, BJ Raji, Brian Cushing. All these guys were all from Jersey and went in the first round in the 2009 draft class. How crazy is that? All from Jersey.
That's ridiculous.
It's funny because we obviously go out down shore all the time. We have a house in Belmont, I have a house in Manasquan. Last summer we were at Bar A. I saw Quentin Nelson, and
he's a stud.
He was wearing his own jersey, which was
that's so badass. That's so fucking badass.
It's either badass or suspect. I mean,
but if you're Quentin Nelson, it's badass because no one's fucking with you.
and then we saw Gesicki from Manalapan. He's in Miami now. He walks in.
He's a stud too. Absolutely. So
Jersey has that, they're always going to come home. You're always going to come home to Jersey. It has that
for sure.
Effect.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Jersey Shore is just the best place to be. It's a different breed. It really is. Different beast.
It is, especially in the summertime. I mean, it's a little bummer now what's going on with COVID and things like that. And it's funny, I host people. I host people on the shore in the summertime. You know what I mean? So talent that I deal with, and they want to come check out the shore. Well, they come down to my house in Tom's River. We hang out, and we hit the shore. I brought we work with the McCourty twins, right? They're clients of ours, and I brought Devin to Parker House last year.
Did you?
Yeah, me, Devin, and a couple of our teammates from Rutgers that we're all still very close with.
You gotta hit us up.
We all hit Parker House, and it was a blast. It was a way different. People who aren't used to it, it's different for them.
Oh,
God. But I had to kind of give them a taste of what it looked like, and we had a blast. It was funny, but that was just last summer. For sure. It just sucks what's going on now, because it's a cool feel of the shore to have those shore bars and there's real short, not even just the bars, restaurants, shore experiences, the rides and the boardwalk. It sucks that we're kind of going through it. And I understand it. You got to be cautious and, but the timing, kind of blows going into, the summertime.
Yeah, it definitely does.
So I'm curious if your teammates were actually into Jersey Shore, the show, or were they just kind of busting your chops?
Busting my chops. I think it was both. I think they like to bust my chops, because, and that's classic, like, locker room, everyone, gets on you a little bit. And again, like, I had a target on my back just being a pure Jersey Shore guy. And a lot of people would think, like, oh, you don't sound like you're from the Jersey Shore. I'm like, well, what is, like, just because you don't know what someone sounds like, because you don't know the Jersey Shore, that's why. Like,
they're listening to people from Brooklyn and shit and Staten Island.
Exactly. Like, I'm born and bred at the shore. Like, don't tell me what the shore is. It's and a lot of them I think just like the show. I know a lot of people that love that show. It's reality TV. I get. I'm sure it's played up a little bit. Even some of the guys on the show, it's just it's played up. In fact, actually, I know Roger Matthews. He seems like a regular guy. Jay Wow's old. But he. It's just funny, it's what that became and what that culture represented. It's just nuts.
Oh, wow.
It's one of those guilty pleasures that no one really wants to admit that they're into, but kind of everyone is.
Absolutely. Everyone was watching it. I don't care. I don't care whether you admit it or not. Like, you watch a couple episodes.
I still watch it now when it comes on.
Yeah, I watch it all the time.
Especially when we're going out, I get so fucking hyped when I watch it. I don't know what it is. Especially when I'm down the shore. It's got to be on the TV. It does something.
Oh, no doubt.
For some reason, it just gets me fucking so locked in, ready to drink. It's ridiculous.
That's funny.
Every Tuesday, we'd go to my boy's house and watch the Jersey Shore. We'd all stop at fucking Quick Check, get 2 cans of dip, and just, like, sit there, reruns, and watch the new episode. Some of the best times. Really, it really was.
Everyone has a routine and gets them ready to go. And throwing a show, it's like a pregame speech. You throw a show on, then you go out and hit the same bar that maybe they went to or whatever. It's kind of funny.
Kevin, on that note, we want to know how else you spend your free time. Like, are you big into TV shows, movies, video games, anything like that?
You know what? There's some series we got into, like Ozark is awesome, man. I mean, I'm a huge fan of that. We got into that, me and my wife, especially during the quarantine, and she was pregnant and just kind of chilling and, throw on some stuff. And say in my free time, you know what? And my friends think I'm absolutely nuts, is I'm still an avid lifter. Like, I'm a little out of my mind when it comes to, like, my daily, like, training routine. Like, I still try to train 5 days a week. And I lift like I still play. Like, I like to work out and lift like I still play. Like, even my weight right now is, like, kind of close to my playing weight. Like, I played at 240. Right now I'm weighing like 238, 237. Wow. And because I just love to train and work out. And that came, so growing up with my dad and my brothers. And then also in college, we had a great strength coach when I was there. Who's actually back there now under Coach Iano. He was a great guy and taught me so much, and it just brought a passion to the weight room. But I love to work out still. So I'm still hitting, like, back squats. I'm front squatting. I'm snatching like a fucking snatch. You know what I mean? Like, can you like? And my friends are like, "Kev, what are you doing? You don't have to. Why are you snatching?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, it really that lift. I'm gonna be real. It has no purpose for me right now. It has zero purpose. But but at least I can talk about it. And hey, a lot of the kids I'm going after, they're still snatching. They're lifting. They're lifting like that because they're playing. Exactly. So, like, it makes me a little more relatable, I guess. But it's people, like, for my friends, not like the twins specifically, they think I'm nuts. They think I'm nuts the way I lift. But it's just like, it's something I like to do it. Trained behavior becomes instinct, and, like, it was just my instinct over these years of doing it that way. And I love to train that way, and that's how I feel comfortable. And so, like, I used to love going to the movie theater, like going check out movies and stuff like that. I'm pretty much low key, or just getting together with my friends. My relationships mean so much to me. Family, my friends, and essentially that's kind of what brought me towards this business, because I just know it's a relationship business, and that's what makes me successful at Malka. But I love spending time with people in my life. As generic as that sounds, but it's true. Like, I love, like, meeting up with someone and catching up with them for no real reason, just checking in on them, or having a beer with someone in Jersey City if they come and visit the office or something like that, or I love spending time with my family and my friends. My relationships mean a lot.
For sure. How do you balance work with working out, with being a dad, husband, friend, etc.?
It's tough. It really is. Because, like, for a big part of my life, and I think that this is actually what made me successful as an athlete, is I was extremely selfish with my time, to be completely honest. Like I was, you know, my wife, I dated in high school. Like I've known her since high school. Right. So I was extremely selfish with my time, day in and day out. So like, even she would be like waiting around for me to complete a workout or waiting around for me to grab some field work with some friends. You know what I mean? So I was always selfish with my time. Now, as I grow and I have a family, 2 kids, clients now that I have to serve and make sure we're doing good by them, growing the business. A lot of it's just kind of balancing it, you know, and having conversation and open communication, you know. So if my wife says, "Hey, I need you home here at this time," like there's no workaround, I kind of adjust my schedule and make sure I can make it happen, you know. And I'm not gonna lie, like I don't sleep a lot, you know. Like even when I come home and when I train, I'll drive all the way from Jersey City where I train. You guys will get a kick out of this. Where I train, I still train in my parents' garage where my dad built us a weight room. So literally the bench, my first bench press I ever did, like when I was in 7th or 8th grade, I benched to this day, the same exact bench press. Awesome. So like I drive from Jersey City, and I'm not sure if you look up where Whiting is in Ocean County, it's like this back part of like Manchester. It's in the middle of nowhere, a bunch of woods and whatever. My dad's lived there our whole life, you know, like, and I drive from Jersey City, and by that time I don't go home because my son's asleep. So I just go right to my parents' house and train. Come home, eat dinner, bang out some other emails I have to do from the night that I might have missed during that time period, and wake up and get after it. Spend time with my son in the morning. That's like a designated time for my son. I drop him off at school or a babysitter or whatever. Kind of spend some time with him there, and then head into Jersey City or go where I gotta go. And then again, it's just staying active, man. It's working and being present, and then also being present wherever you are. You know, one thing I've realized is like it does me no use to worry about anything else going on anywhere else, as long as I'm in a room with someone else. You know, if I'm in that room, like right now, like I'm in this space with you guys in this podcast. I'm committed to this space in this podcast right now. You know what I mean? And to what you guys are talking about and how I feel and things like that. So like, again, it's committing myself and staying in the moment. That's kind of helped balance it out, you know, and sometimes I can be a little selfish and my wife brings me back down to earth. But it's a fun balance though. You know, I definitely have zero complaints. It's a fun balance.
I know both times you came into to Annie's class, you were swagging out. You I can tell you that you know how to dress. You always got the bracelets on.
Yeah.
I'm curious, your favorite brands, your shoes. Are you a sneakerhead?
Love it. Love this conversation. I love where this conversation is going. So yes, I do have a ton of sneakers. And I love clothes. Yeah. So like I've always have. I'm into fashion. My favorite pair of sneakers are the Jordan 1s. Like I think the Jordan 1s, I've worn them in business meetings with executives or just out with my buddies. I mean, you could wear that shoe. In my opinion, it transcends a lot of different things, you know, because people respect, you know, people kind of respect it, and it looks good with a lot of different things, especially whatever colors you're rocking. But I'm a huge fan. I have a lot of Jordan 11s, but like really now all I buy is a Jordan 1. Like whenever a new Jordan 1 comes out, I'll go after that.
You have a favorite colorway?
You know what? I got those the purple ones, the purple and white that just came out with the black Nike check. Yeah. In fact, actually, I wore them in my latest Instagram post when I'm holding my daughter. When I'm holding my daughter that was just born. And I just got those, but like I'm a big fan of those. I got those black and green ones recently too. Those are pretty cool. They go with a lot. But yeah, I got the Royals. I mean the red, like you know the black, red, and white. I mean I got a ton. I'm a big fan of those. But yeah, I mean what's cool about what I do now is it's very casual where I work. You know, so, and plus me, like I'm meeting with guys who kind of dress like me, you know, so it's acceptable in that space. Now, depending on who I'm meeting with, I'll wear a suit or, you know, a nice dress shirt or whatever, depending on what I got going on professionally. But it's funny, when I first went to Malka, like kind of as like my first unofficial day there, I was kind of stopped by the office, but I was because in my previous job, I had to wear a suit. You had to wear a shirt and tie. So I walked in there, and people probably thought I was auditing the place. Like they probably were like, "Yo, who is this guy?" Like, you know what I mean? Like they probably had no idea because I was so like, I stuck out like a sore thumb, you know.
Right.
Now I can go into work again, depending on who I'm meeting with or what I got going on. I can go to work wearing a pair of joggers, Jordans, and like a rock and roll t-shirt. Yeah, so like it's kind of cool. Like you get to show your style in our workplace, and everybody dresses like that. It's perfectly normal and acceptable. So it's cool, man. It's definitely a different space, and that's even more of a transition. Going from corporate America to something a little like millennial type.
Yeah, definitely. And it was interesting watching The Last Dance when Jordan wore the Jordan 1s his last game at MSG, and he like literally couldn't play in them. And you know what? That's how they look. You really wish you can't play in them.
I know. I sometimes I put those Jordans on, especially even like the 11s aren't that comfortable. Like they pinch at the top. Like they're not like that comfortable of a shoe, in my opinion. I don't know how they people actually perform and play.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Up until the 80s, they were playing in Converse. So I think anything was a step up from that.
Dude.
That's so true.
Their fucking shins probably hurt so bad every single day.
I can't imagine. I'm also, I'm also a huge Vans fan. Like I love Vans, especially the summertime. Like you just throw on a pair of Vans and like go out and do whatever. But I have a ton of pairs of Vans too. So I'm a huge Vans guy.
Probably.
Then I have like your other shoe, like your upscale brands and stuff like that, depending on the situation. But I would say my day-to-day shoes are your Jordan 1 or Vans. I got some Yeezys too, mixing the play. But yeah, definitely a big sneaker guy.
Did you get a sneaker connect from playing and going into the business?
You know what? I don't have
That's crazy.
Like I don't have an actual sneaker connect. I mean, I have some people I hit up. It's funny, I actually hit up the McCourty twins a lot on their opinions on what they think of shoes. So I'll really just screenshot it on like the Nike app or something on StockX or something like that, and I'll send it to them like, yo, what are you guys' thoughts on this? Because like I really value their opinion in a lot of things, but definitely shoes. And so like, and they'll tell me like, nah, I'm not a fan, or yeah, I'm a fan. So it's kind of funny. Like I bounce some ideas off those guys.
Are they like the same guy? Because like the way they it seems like they operate as one cohesive unit.
They do everything together. But they really are two different personalities, and the relationship is so special and tight that it could appear like they're the same. You know what I mean? Because totally. I mean, it is their bond is super special, man. And to just to talk about those guys for a second is, those guys were in the same recruiting class as me at Rutgers, so we all came in together, and so I met them when I was 19 years old, and we grew together at a very interesting time at Rutgers, where Rutgers was really climbing the ladder and becoming very successful. So like imagining all those times together and experiencing all that. And then even better, I got to play with Jay for 2 years in Tennessee, where I lived with him actually for 1 year. So it's really cool to experience that and experience them that as teammates. But like those guys become such great friends of mine, and they're such great people. I mean, as respected as they are on the field, and trust me, they are respected like across the whole NFL. Like like a bunch of teams, players, coaches, GMs, head coaches. Like these guys are very well respected. These guys are just amazing people, and now to work with them, like so experiencing them as teammates, and then that grew into an amazing friendship, and now we're like brothers. And then now I experience them as clients, which is super special, man. I mean, what these guys do, I mean, they're up for the Muhammad Ali Humanitarian Award. They've been up for the Walter Payton Man of the Award before. And the Muhammad Ali Award, that's one of the most prestigious community service awards you can win in sports. I mean, it's very special. And I mean, these guys are Rutgers Distinguished Alumni. They gave the commencement speech last year. I mean, it's just, they have an enormous list. I mean, they keep me busy, that's for sure, which is a good thing, and I'm happy to do it.
Good clients to
exactly.
have.
They're great clients to have. And they're a prime example of how we want our guys to follow suit, which is really cool too, to have that part of our agency. It's a great examples, for our younger guys, because now they can see the work we do with them and they're like, I want to do that, or I like what they're doing, and I think that's cool. Can we do it for this kind of charity or this kind of 501c3? So it's really cool. These guys continue to set the standard, and it really reflects not only, I mean, clearly it reflects themselves very well, it reflects their agency well, and it goes on to the other guys as well. So it's a really cool legacy that they're doing.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
You got to tell them how much fun you had on the Crossover podcast. We'd love to talk to them.
I will. They're a tough get. They're a tough get. I'll say that right now. They're just. I'm a little easier. I'm washed up, but they were just on ABC Nightline the other day, and they were on CNN last week. It's tough.
They spoke at my commencement last year, 2019. And you know what? My sister graduated in 2016 from Rutgers. That's when President Obama spoke. In my opinion, they were more inspirational than President Obama. They were unbelievable. They were unbelievable, really. They were great.
They absolutely killed that speech.
Yeah.
I mean, they killed it. I was blown away because I can't imagine how hard it is, especially because, mind you, like the way they have to do it, and whenever they give it to us, whenever they have a speaking engagement that we secure for them or whatever that comes in, is they have to go back and forth. So imagine it's like not just me talking to you and I get to deliver a speech, that's it, but they have to like organize a speech to where like one person's saying another thing, another person's saying another thing, and the way they're able to do that, they have such a natural feel to bounce off one another. It's really amazing, and you see it on their podcast that we do for them, Double Coverage, and it's so cool to see. And they nailed that commencement speech. And what's really cool about even that day is they jumped on a helicopter after they gave that commencement speech, went up to Liberty Park in Jersey City, and did their charity walk. For sickle cell. So again, like these guys spare. Like, I mean, they are so amazing as far as what they do, and we're just super blessed to be in their corner and to just help them along the way.
And it was they're transcendent in a sense because my mom, she's not a sports person, and she came up to me after. She was like, "That's one of the best speeches I've ever heard," and she had no idea who the hell they were.
That's a great call too. That's so cool you said that because I really believe their audience is expanding more and more, and that's honestly our role is to make sure, like I say this all the time about Dev and Jay, is my job is to make sure everyone knows them the way I know them.
Yep.
That's my job, to position and brand them a certain way or to put them in a position here so people can just listen to them, which is the main reason why we started Double Coverage Podcast is because, we just want them to expand upon who they are as people, how well spoken they are.
Yep.
And if you want to go the broadcasting world, it's just always nice to have reps. If that's what you decide to do in the future, it's good to have those reps. And they're just lights out. I mean, they're just killing it. And they, again, like you said, they're appealing to all different types of people and backgrounds. And you don't have to just be a football player to appreciate them or a football fan. Right. I mean, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Did you coordinate their speech?
Well, with Rutgers, we did the back and forth. We organized everything with Rutgers, on their behalf. And then also their speech themselves. So I got to say, like they wrote it themselves. They wrote their speech themselves. Maybe their wives helped them out a little bit there. But other than that, like they bounced it out. They bounced it off us, and me and Pat looked at it and were like, wow, this is amazing. It's great. Like, you know what I mean? Like those guys, I'm telling you, like perspective wise, like it's crazy. Like, I only hope all of our guys kind of follow in their footsteps and have that kind of approach, but also have that kind of just being professional in everything they do. Like they have that kind of approach, it's really cool. And we really do. We have a lot of really good young guys that are following that suit and treat people with respect. I mean, that's one thing I'm really proud of, like our clients that our agency represents is these guys are just really like hearts of gold, and doing a lot more with their platform. And, we represent Sebastian Joseph Day. He's another guy. And just what a great human being he is. The things he's doing, he's part of the Players Coalition, doing a lot of great stuff with social justice. I just wrote an op-ed the other day, but he's also, he fundraised some money for COVID-19 doing an Instagram DJ live, like, and directed him, and he had like Aaron Donald join it and stuff like that. It was like really cool. Talk about just using your platform in a positive way during these times. I mean, you can't, that's the type of stuff which really makes this job cool. It's creating impact, and you want these guys to leave a legacy behind, whether that is in business or it's in philanthropy, and for me, like, what you do on the field, that sets you up as a player. I mean, you can be a great player, but what you do off the field, that sets up your legacy, and that's what all these guys get, and that's what they're doing.
So I'm curious have you ever been in the situation where, there was this real high profile potential client, is going to make you guys a lot of money, but their character wasn't exactly up to par?
You know what? Like a lot of the guys that we go after, we vet out even beforehand, so And a lot of it's through prior relationships. Like that's how I kind of recruit or go after people. It's people I've known throughout my network, and I have a big list of people who are at a bunch of different schools, and they're bouncing around, and people I've known from the NFL going back to college and things like that. And I kind of fact check. So we never really get to that point where we approach someone and it's a yes or a no, but then we last minute found out about their character. It's like very like we find all that stuff out very prematurely, as far as throughout that process. If that makes any sense, I hope that answers your question.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Kevin, I think it's awesome that you speak so passionately about your work. Where do you see your career going from here?
You know what? I'm extremely grateful to work at Malka because of their vision and what they do, and I'm very grateful and blessed to have the job that I have. I feel like I've earned it throughout my career. Some people are like, because a lot of people, they want to get in the sports business or they want a job like that I have. They see kind of like what I do when I'm on the move or traveling and hanging out. But there's a lot of work and effort that I had to put into this to develop these relationships and really answer the bell in a lot of different ways, and deliver for people. It's cool working like a big deal with like Pizza Hut or, Mountain Dew or something like that. But sometimes I'm organizing a media obligation to, any kind of news network, so that's not like the sexiest part of the job, but it's part of it, and delivering for these people. Where I see myself going is I would love just to continue to grow on what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and that is just expanding my network and building upon my relationships and delivering for those relationships day in and day out. I have a ton of respect for the guy I work for, because, of how he treated me, and how special does that relationship look like when I'm sitting down with a recruit, or a parent of a recruit, or an aunt and uncle of that recruit, and I get to tell them about what I do and who I do it for. And by the way, this guy was my agent. You know what I mean? So like, it's a really cool story if you step back and look at it as far as what we do. And the guys on the content side that we merge with, they're all great guys too. And they're thought leaders in the space, in the content space, and what they're doing is just amazing stuff.
Awesome, man. We definitely wish you the best of luck with all of that. Do you have any social media links or anything like that you want to shout out?
Yeah, for sure. It's just my social media is simple. It's just Kevin Malast. I'm on Instagram and I'm on Twitter and LinkedIn. And it's funny, I was never a social media guy until I got into this space. So I never had it as a player or nothing, and then I understand, how it helps here and, showing network and things like that, and people that trust you and stuff like that. So social's been good for me, but yeah. That's where I'm at.
Awesome. You can follow The Crossovr at facebook.com/The Crossovr, Twitter at It's The Crossovr, Instagram at The Crossovr, and our website, www.itsthecrossovr.com. That's ITSTHECROSSOVR.com. Kevin, thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate it. I think this was awesome.
My pleasure, man. I had a lot of fun, and I appreciate everything you guys are doing. And I really wish you guys the best of luck. It's cool, man, to pursue this. And you guys are in a great space with a lot of potential and opportunity. And I truly wish you guys the best of luck.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Kevin.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
pleasure.
Everybody.
You can catch us next time. We have a great episode with former Duke men's lacrosse captain and 2019 ACC Defensive Player of the Year, JT Giles-Harris. Kevin, any last words?
I'm good, man. Good to go.
All right, man. Thank you so much.